Hey, I want to talk about rebounding. The reason I want to talk about rebounding is for the sake of everyone watching this, so they do not make the same mistakes I have made. Rebounding involves two parties, normally, where one party has lowered their standards significantly due to them being lonely and desperate, and another party is taking advantage of that fact and dating them even though under normal circumstances that person would never be with them. Now, quite a few months ago, I was rebounding. I just got out of a pretty heavy relationship, and I was not only lonely but desperate as well, the deadly combination. And I decided to date someone who had slept with over 20 people prior to me, 18 men and 3 women, according to her. But I overlooked this, even though she had over 4 times the amount of people in her bed than I ever had. She never really had sex for love other than 3 times, which should have been a problem because I only have sex for love. She was previously an alcoholic. She was previously a druggie. She may have still been an alcoholic, and I overlooked this completely. Allegedly, I was told that she wasn't even a vegetarian, that she lied about it, because apparently on Skype she was eating a steak in spite of me, which a lot of you may not care about, but if you care about honesty, you should probably consider that as something important. This individual decided to spread a bunch of lies about me, which should have been a flag when I read the lies she told about her first boyfriend, or one of her first boyfriends, where she cheated on him. And the fact that she cheated on someone should have also been a flag to me, but again, I was rebounding, desperate, and lonely, so I overlooked that. I was basically overlooking every single thing that should have been an obvious no-go, because of how pathetic I was, how desperate I was. I talked to my mom, I talked to my sisters, I talked to my friends. Everybody was saying that it was a bad idea to be with her, because in their opinion she was a total whore. To be only 26 and to have slept with over 20 people is ridiculous. It's totally ridiculous. And yeah, I was just forgiving all of it, because she came up with a story saying, oh, I thought that was all I was good for, and that's why I did that. You sleep with people because you think that's what you're good for? Like, how low do you have to be to resort to sleeping around? Like, I don't understand that. And on top of that, you cheated on someone. Did you think you were supposed to do that too? Did you think that you were supposed to sleep with people when you're already in a relationship because that's what you're meant to do? Because I'm pretty sure that much would have been clear. Anyway, so she told me about how she cussed at cops on the street when she was completely plastered off her butt. She told me about how she beat her boyfriend and her boyfriend beat her, and there was so many violent situations. And all these things that I would want nothing to do with, because I would never lift my hand against a woman, and no woman has ever lifted a hand against me, and if she did, she would be gone. She would be out of my life. And that should have been a flag. I should have been out of that relationship then, but I didn't go, because I was desperate and lonely. And then she tried to marry me. She tried to marry me within 60 days of meeting her. Maybe it was 45 days of meeting her. Like, I'm not even talking about in person. I'm talking about over the internet. She tried to marry me, and I didn't see this as a big problem. I was like, well, I think we should wait at least a year, because that's what I had originally discussed. I discussed, well, maybe in a year we can get married, you know? Because a year out, you have enough time to think about the relationship and reflect on it, see how everything's going. But again, I ignored this massive warning sign that says maybe this chick's just after your money, or maybe she's just after a free ride. I don't know. I don't know what she's after. Maybe she's just into having sex with YouTube celebs. I don't know. I know she was bragging to all her friends about who I am, the banana man. I know that she was bragging to everybody about how great I was in bed, and then suddenly completely turned on me and said that I was average to everyone once I dumped her. It's just like, it's ridiculous. The whole relationship was disgusting. And something else I should have noticed as a warning sign is personal hygiene. Why didn't she wash herself? Horrible, horrible stench when we made love for the first time and the second time. I even got baby wipes. And I was saying, you know, I use these to wipe my butt, and, you know, if you ever want to wipe yourself after you go to the bathroom, you should do that too. But she didn't get the hint. It was just a horrible experience. It was an utterly horrible experience. And it was because I was lonely and desperate that I even went there. You guys saw in my videos how chaotic I was. I wasn't mentally stable. I was completely out of control. I was so lonely. I was crying all the time. When we finally started dating, I was sobbing in my video about how I finally got a girlfriend. It's like, if you're gonna cry over getting a girlfriend, you shouldn't be dating anyone because you're obviously not in the right state of mind. But nevertheless, she didn't care. She dated me anyway, knowing how messed up I was. She yelled at me because I was upset because she pushed me away when I tried to cuddle her. I was at the point of crying, and she was talking about what a wussy I was and how I needed to man up. This person did not care about me. They even revealed in a letter that they were actually a hater of my Onision Speaks channel the entire time. They never told me this. They told me that they were a fan of the Onision Speaks channel. But they lied to me the whole time. They were even a member of my site, lying to me there too. It's ridiculous. It's completely ridiculous, and I haven't stood up for myself all this time because I still had feelings for her, because I still felt sorry for her. And yet now it's like she never really gave a shit. I was used. She didn't lose any money. She said that I made her get rid of her cats, but she forgot to mention that it was her idea in the first place. I never asked her to get rid of her cats. I said that there's going to be a pet fee if she decided to bring her cats. And she's like, oh, I'll get rid of them. And I said, you don't have to do that. You love your cats. And she's like, no, I'm getting rid of them. And then later on, I get blamed for it. You guys know how much I love animals. That's just ridiculous. And on top of that, the lady spreads rumors about my ex having a penis. That's retarded. That is stupid. She spreads rumors about a dog eating her out. What kind of person spreads a rumor about someone who's not even involved? Like someone who's not even in the situation. I didn't write anyone in her family emails, but she's writing my ex's mom, talking to her, trying to get dirt on both of us. This is ridiculous. It's completely ridiculous that anyone would side with a person who's not only a complete stranger, but obviously a very low-moraled individual. And I did this all because I was rebounding. Because I was so pathetic. I was at such a low state, probably lower than I've ever been. I might as well have been drunk through the whole thing, because that's how good my decision-making skills were. Mind you, I've never been drunk, so I wouldn't know much about that. But I assume that people make bad decisions such as getting in cars and driving and so forth, blah blah blah. So she ate me behind my back. She lied to me repeatedly. She hated me behind my back, telling me she loved me to my face and then saying, oh, I might have kind of loved him, I don't know. And then after I called her out some time ago on her lies, she texted me saying that, oh, well, you know, everybody has their own version of the truth, or, you know, there's the truth for one person, but it's not necessarily the truth for another. Basically, she's admitting that she's lying through text. But of course, she's not going to say that to all you guys. She's not going to say that she slept with so many people. She's not going to say that she cheated before. She's not going to say that she yelled at me when I was crying, that she mocked me for having emotions, for being in a bad state, because I wasn't man enough. And then, of course, she goes to insinuate that when we did make love, that I was forcing her into it, that I was pressuring her into it, and she didn't really want to. That's funny coming from someone who slept with over 20 people. That's really funny. None of it makes sense. And I've been taking a beating for months now because I wasn't willing to stand up for myself and say what was really true. I even went to the extent of saying that she was right about me and everything, because I thought that that would get me ground with her, that she would somehow feel sorry for me and take me back, because that's how pathetic and desperate I was. I was willing to say that she was right when she was so incredibly wrong. I wasn't willing to accept that this person was just genuinely a foul individual for lying about someone she allegedly loved. You don't lie about people you love. You don't lie in general. Why would you lie? Why are you so afraid of the truth? Because the truth is what helps us all reflect on who we are. So we can look in the mirror and know exactly who we're looking at, so we can live in reality and not a fake world. Lies aren't going to get you forward in life. The truth is, when you accept it, it might be hard to swallow, but once it's down, you're good to go. You can finally progress. I'm just so sick of everyone believing a lie. And I'm glad that the truth is finally out so I can actually move on with my life, because it's been bugging me for some time. knowing that everyone thinks a complete bullshit story about me. I need to respect the person that I see in the mirror. And so I must tell the truth. I must be honest about what I've gone through. Otherwise, I just don't see the point. Anyway, so that's what I went through. There's a list of other things that she said about me, and trust me, you can just assume that it's bullshit. Because quite frankly, this individual has lied so much, I don't see why anything she says could be even remotely valid. She's just a liar with very, very low morals. As that much is very obvious at this point. She did the same thing to her exes that she did to me. Whatever you have to say about me, let it not be that I'm a liar. Because I am willing to prove to seemingly no end that I'm telling the truth. It's one of the things in this world that I hold most sacred. Can't say the same about the other person, because many people have been lied about in her life, I am sure. Anyway, so that's my rant on rebounding and what I went through. When you are in a state of rebounding, get a puppy. If you get a puppy or you get a companion, you won't feel so lonely, and you won't let people who are in no way compatible with you take advantage of you. I just want to say one more thing. With the whole sexual thing, you shouldn't text a person repeatedly all the sexual things that you want to do with them, and tell them on the phone all the things that you want to do with them, and talk about giving them oral on a road trip all the way back home because you're planning on taking them from one state to another. You shouldn't be extremely sexual with someone if you don't plan on being sexual with them, and then turn around and be surprised when they had sex with you, when they met you like 2-3 hours after, like in person. That much did happen. And I regret it. Not only for the horrible smell, but for the generally horrible experience. Because this individual didn't want to make love, they wanted to just have... They wanted to F-word. That's what they wanted to do. And one of the most disturbing things that she said to me is, we just had hate sex. Because at one point it was aggressive. And I'm like, how could you associate sex and the word hate together? We're supposed to be in love. Why would you call it hate sex? Unless, of course, she actually hated me. I had sex with somebody who hated me. And she admitted that herself when she said that she didn't like my videos on the Speaks channel. Because this is who I am. So imagine that, guys. You felt like you fell in love with someone because you were on the rebound and desperate to fill the massive void the last person you were with left you. The sexual experience was not only horrible, but you find out that after, they hated you the entire time. I know people who go through rape are far worse off than I am. But I laid down thinking I was with one person, and I got up realizing who I was really with. And I felt extremely violated. You don't have to believe me, though. You can go trust a stranger who you've never even talked to. When you guys talk to me every single day, when you leave your comments, and you hear me talk back to you or post to an ecn.net/contacts, in which I talk to you guys directly, regularly. So that's the biggest mistake of my life. And for everyone who kept asking me that question on the forums, now you know. I dated the wrong person. And I can never, ever take back what I went through. But here's to you avoiding it and not being taken advantage of when you're on the rebound. Thanks for watching, guys.